it's just its own thing. I don't know. It's
I mean, I guess like the politics around the country have kind of made it pretty kind of shut off almost from a lot of the places.
When was the last time you went to China?
2019, just before COVID.
Just before COVID. We actually filmed a video in a wet market in China.
In Wuhan. Yeah.
In Wuhan?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
With crew from Wuhan.
Yeah.
Just before COVID.
Wait, so
a month before COVID.
What were you filming in? Was it just about the wet markets?
It's kind of dodgy.
This is a video that's
is it out or is it gone?
It's being
gonna
released
come out.
soon.
It's gonna come out soon. We went to the dog meat festival in Yulin.
For what purpose?
So we're kind of exploring the nature of exploring why we're so offended with Chinese people eating dogs when we ourselves love to eat so much meat. And exploring what's the difference. Is there actually a difference between a dog and a pig? And then exploring the cultural reason as to like why we just like pinning it on Chinese people.
Do you reckon that's going to piss a lot of people off, that video?
I think it's hard because dogs are such lovely animals and we love dogs.
Cute.
And it's like, you know.
But it's hard. I feel like if you lived with a pet pig, you'd have exactly the same relationship. Like they're very smart, very cute.
Like I know a lot of people who don't eat pork, including my mother-in-law, just because, you know, they were just like, I can't do it. I see the pigs same way they see his dogs.
I mean, religion as well, you know.
Religion as well,
It's for all different reasons.
That's the thing. When we were there, we were at the festival, like interviewing a bunch of people. A lot of guys were just like, Westerners don't eat dogs, Indians don't eat cows. It's the same thing. And we're just like, yeah, well, I mean, fair enough.
Well, were people pretty open to just talking on camera there?
It was surprising that people were
like, fuck it. I guess they don't know any better, do they?
No, they had some good opinions about it as well. And like some people had some dumb opinions.
They're like, we only eat the bad dogs.
We only eat the bad dogs. And the obsession with it making you better at sex was strange.
Dogs like crazy aphrodisiac.
And this guy was just like,
Gets
makes
you
you
real
like
hard.
really good at sex. And then he offered the dog's penis to Alexa.
And that was so trippy. So I was eating a dog's penis, and it was what you don't realize, or maybe you guys know this, I don't know, but they've got this thing called a baculum, which is like they have a bone inside their penis. I didn't know that, and I was
Would
like,
you say like you're like, I've tried a dog's penis before.
I mean, I've owned many dogs.
But in my head, I was like, it's like my penis, and I just bit straight through it, and like almost like chipped a tooth on a dog's penis, but I didn't realize there was just a hard bone inside.
What the fuck, guys? What the
Sorry, mate, that's probably the wrong thing to talk about.
Why can't
the idea is we want it.
I just love the opening to that sentence. So I was eating a dog's dick, right?
I need a dog's dick. Like, what the fuck?
No, the angle was we wanted to interview all these people there, and I think coming in as a Westerner, the idea is that you're there as an activist and you're trying to stop people from eating dogs. So like, in order to get the best interviews,
you're eating it.
We were eating.
Yeah. Well, I ate like 2 kilos of dog.
We ate so much dog that day. Yeah.
I like actually became vegetarian for like 2 months after that,
crazy.
where I was like just so sick of like just eating meat.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm doing like an undercover cop right now who's just like, I had to try all the drugs when they have to go and put it out.
It's like kind of like Louis Theroux a little bit, right? He'll do whatever, if they're a porn worker, he'll go and do everything except the porn. But he'll do everything else around it, right? I think if you are willing to show people that you're not judgmental, it's just like, hey, can you just? I want to just honestly know why you do this, and I'm not coming here to like run a hit piece. It's like, hey, could you just tell me and I'll eat the dog dick?
And it's like, it is confronting, and especially like seeing dogs, you're just like, fuck, this is horrible. But like at the same time, like they found it confronting. Just the quantity of meat that we eat. Like, they eat so much less. Like, it's such a smaller part of meals over there.
I mean, it was so presumably they were all speaking in Chinese. How did you navigate these interviews?
We had a
translators.
fixer for that.
That helps a lot.
How'd you go about finding a fixer for like a certain country?
He was just a guy that had just posted on social media. Right. I think he actually studied in America. And then he was a guy we saw.
Brought in a couple of friends.
And then it was funny because it was his friends. And there was just too many people there, and everyone was doing different things, and it's really hard. I'm sure you guys have probably worked in countries where you don't speak the same language. It's so hard to communicate what you want. Especially with working with real people who are doing something else and don't want to be.
Yeah, they're like, I don't fucking care about.
So it was like, but we managed to get some footage, talk to people, and
awesome,
just cool
Yeah, I'm curious because I haven't been to China since they added like the whole social credit kind of system.
Oh, really? Yeah, that would be an interesting
how bad is like the surveillance there nowadays?
We found it interesting because we didn't really. There were some rules you meant to follow in China. One of them is you meant to let the government know which hotels you're checking into. We didn't do that the entire time, and we didn't get in trouble at all.
I honestly, I feel like it might be a bit overblown because it felt a lot more chill than I expected.
Like, people seem like tourists, like maybe.
Probably, that's probably part of it.
But that's the thing is, you can't go in on a journalistic visa because you're not allowed. So when we were going in, we're going in as tourist visas, filming undercover, not telling people what you're doing. And then when we did have interactions with the police, you just kind of pretend you're not.
No, but it was.
When did you have interactions with the police?
So at the festival we were filming, and obviously we're not meant to.
Yeah.
But a cop came up to us and it was just so chill. Like, I don't even...
They took a photo with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they were like...
There's a fan,
They asked us if we were activists and we're like, no, we're not here. We're just here to eat some dog meat.
Yeah.
And then
it's
like, man. They were almost confused. They were just like, oh, okay, you can kind of stay then, I guess. Like,
It's a weird comparison though, because like, I think it is quite chill for us to go there. I think they come down real hard on domestic journalists.
Of course.
As a foreigner, I think there's just like, it's too much of a PR disaster for them to do anything. They're pretty relaxed.
Yeah, the guy we were chatting to, our fixer, he really didn't want to talk about politics in China because he was like, it's scary to do.
Yeah, for sure. Like, how'd you go about filming covertly? Because I guess you can't just fucking rock up with DSLRs. And,
kind of works. That's what we did. We had it one time, like the end of the trip, we were walking through this random village. I forgot where it was. It was just outside of Yulin. And we came across a sweatshop where these kind of like mothers were working, and they actually had their kids kind of like playing in the sweatshops as well. Some were mucking around on machines. And we just walked into the sweatshop, sat down on a sewing machine and just started pretending to make things, and were filming, and everyone just found it hilarious. It was so strange. It was just working in a sweatshop. It was so funny. Like,
that's all going to be in the video.
Check it out.
Holy
When
shit.
is it coming out?
When's this coming out?
When Alexa finishes making it.
This is. Do you ever stop to think like, this is fucking insane? Like, what we're doing is so fucking sweet.
Yeah, some of that was.
But you get addicted. You're like, the next one's got to be worse.
Oh my god.
Christ.
This episode.